You have been sentenced for a period of 10 years with a non-parole period of 8 years. You understand all that?
Yeah, of course I do. Means I'm going to be buried alive in this stinking place.
Well, you've obviously been made an example of so that others will think twice before trying the same sort of thing.
It won't make no difference to no one else. Only me. 10 years of my bloody life taken off me. 10 years!
It's funny, isn't it, the way some people try and throw their weight around?
Who'd want as much weight as her to throw around?
Yeah, it'll be fun cutting certain people down to size.
Well, some people couldn't cut butter.
Will you just stop this nonsense and get on with your meal?
Oh, you can't even pass a remark around here now.
That's right. If you wanted quiet, Vera, you should have joined a convent.
Yeah, can you just imagine our Miss Bennett, a nun?
I'll put you all on report if you're not careful.
I just see her as a sister of Nancy.
Anybody that she looked after would be glad to die. Hey, here's Margot.
What'd you get?
10 with an 8.
Oh, that's terrible.
What'd you have, a hanging judge?
Gave me the heaviest sentence he could. Total up to 21 years. He even gave me an extra year for speeding.
Oh, it's bad luck, love. Well, you gonna be in on the plan or what?
I'll be in on anything. What have I got to lose?
Good. Because we're gonna give him hell.
My bloody oath we will.
Oh, just a second, Jim. I'll clear a space for you.
I don't know why I bother, really. I'm not really very hungry.
It must have been hard for you.
What?
The way you've been shuffled around.
Governor 1 minute, then back to deputy the next. Well, I know I was only acting governor, but still I wasn't given much of a chance, was I?
No, I don't suppose you were. But under the circumstances, I don't know what else the department could have done. I mean, the women would only accept Erica.
Yeah, well, that's a bit ironic, isn't it? We had to concede to them. Well, I thought I handled the job pretty well. But now what sort of a hope have I got?
Well, you'll get your chance eventually, Jim. The department must know what a good job you've been doing.
Douglas once told me that he didn't think that I was suitable to be a governor. I haven't got much of a chance with him against me. And Vera was right. I ought to do something about it.
Are you thinking of resigning?
Well, why not? You did. You got out. You're doing something that you really enjoy doing. Why shouldn't I?
What, are you thinking of welfare work?
No, I want to get out of the system altogether. I want to make something of myself. Well, I've had plenty of experience in other fields. Surely I could put some of it to use.
Well, yes, I'm sure you could.
Yeah, well, so am I. It's about time I stood up for myself and did something that showed my capabilities. No, I'm going to do something about it, all right.
Whilst I expect firmness from my officers in maintaining discipline, I do not want the staff to lose sight of one of Wentworth's major objectives, the restoration of prisoners to society. To put it bluntly, if they go out of here more hardened and rebellious than they came in, then we have failed.
Surely it's inevitable that prison will harden people. The blame can hardly be laid at our feet.
The whole idea behind imprisonment is the rehabilitation of prisoners. We should keep that in mind.
As long as that doesn't simply mean pandering to the women.
I also think the women should have some of the advantages of the more recent privileges we have implemented.
Which privileges in particular?
Well, I think the conjugal visits should be continued. I also think there should be no wholesale censorship of mail. And I intend initiating the forming of a prisoners' needs committee.
How do you see that working?
As a committee through which the prisoners may express their ideas for a more harmonious relationship between the staff and inmates.
It'll look to them as if they're running the prison.
Mrs. Davidson, as union rep, I doubt whether my members will agree to such a scheme. Well, Jim, what do you think?
Well, I think it's an open invitation for the prisoners to be continually listing grievances and complaints. It can only make our job more difficult.
On the contrary, I believe that if the women feel they have some means of putting across their requests, they are more likely to be manageable.
Frankly, Mrs. Davidson, you make it sound like we're running a hotel where our guests have to be kept happy at all costs. These women are here to be punished.
I have the full support of Mr. Douglas. And if I feel that I am not getting the kind of cooperation from my staff that I need, then I shall be forced to review the staffing situation.
Are you threatening to fire us, Mrs. Davidson?
I am not making any threats, Miss Bennett. I am merely making it quite clear where I stand. It is imperative that we all learn to work together towards the ideals I mentioned.
Well, where are the rest of the sheets? God, you're a lazy cow, Phyllis. You expect me to stand around here all day waiting for you?
Will you get off my back, you big fat dyke?
Yeah, lay off her. Who do you reckon you are, anyway?
She's on the press, isn't she? Doesn't that show who she is?
Hell, it does.
We're not taking orders from you. You needn't think you're tough, dog.
What do you
Let them
think
sort it
you
out for
are?
themselves.
You couldn't
Why
be
should
top
we care
dog
if
in
they
a rubbish
bash each other's
heap.
heads in?
Come on, Margot, let's show them whose side you're on. Come over here.
See? She's not going to listen to you.
Of course she is. Come on, Margot, come over here and hurry it up.
I'll kill you!
Right, pacemaker, we've got to do something.
Gaffney! You started all this, Bryant. Seems to me you got what you deserved. Take it to the governor.
Right, come on, Bryant.
And if you don't want to spend most of your 10 years in solitary, Gaffney, you'd better learn to control that temper of yours. And the rest of you get back to work. All of you.
Bryant started the trouble, Mrs. Davidson. Apparently the other women were working normally, then she started to boss them around and lashed out verbally at Hunt. Gaffney kept right out of it until she had a go at her.
Then you were the instigator, Bryant. I shall have to make an example of you to show the other women I will not tolerate infighting.
What do you expect? You've taken away the only woman capable of leadership.
Regardless of what I
The
may or may
fighting will
not...
continue until someone comes out on top. Now, I don't know how long that's going to take because there are a lot of half-wits around the place and no one capable of taking control.
It seems to me you are merely using the situation to suit your own ends. I will not tolerate that. Perhaps some time in solitary will convince you I mean what I say.
Solitary? I was the one that got clobbered. Margaret went off her head. She just came at me.
Because of provocation from you. Surely you must have realized the stress that Gaffney was under after just being sentenced, and yet you went ahead and put her under further pressure. I am not surprised she attacked you, and I have no intention of punishing her under the circumstances.
That's right. Just stick the boot in me. I'm being got at. Why? Is it because I'm speaking up for the women?
That has nothing to do with
I didn't
it.
ask for that responsibility. You gave it to me. And now I'm being victimized. I suppose next I'll be shanghaied like Bea was.
That is nonsense, Bryant, and you know
Yeah,
it.
like hell I do.
As for being the women's representative, you gave me an undertaking on their behalf of good behavior.
I can't control those women. If I do, you come down on me.
Now you are the first to break that undertaking. Because of your actions, I can no longer think of you as anything but a troublemaker. Take it to solitary, Mrs.
If you think that putting me in solitary is going to stop this problem, you got a second thought coming because only Bea can do
Come on,
that.
Bryant, just move it.
I just saw Colleen taking Bryant to solitary.
Good. Maybe things will settle down a bit now.
You don't sound very interested.
Well, I won't be around long enough for it to make much difference to me.
Are you seriously looking for another job?
Well, there's not much future for me here with the department against me, is there? May as well get out while the going's good.
Well, with your army background and your experience as a prison officer, you could land a very good job with a security firm.
No, not interested in that line of work anymore. No, I'm going to join the 9 to 5 brigade.
Do you think you could settle down to that?
I don't see why not. I think I could make a pretty good executive with all the managerial experience I've had here as deputy governor.
I think you could do anything you put your mind to.
And it'd make life for you a lot easier without me about, wouldn't it?
I won't deny that I want to get on here. And if you aren't going to be promoted beyond deputy governor, you'll always be blocking my way. If the department's against you, it's best to get out. Best for both of us.
Yes, it's no good me being the dog in the manger, is it?
Well, I'd like to see you get on. I think you've got potential far beyond the job you're allowed to do here.
Thanks, Vera. I haven't found anything that I like yet, but I'll keep looking. That's their knock-off bell. Come on, let's get into it.
You amuse me, Bryant.
Well, I'm glad something amuses you.
Talking about Smith coming back to control things. When are you going to get into your head that Wentworth's run by officers, not inmates?
You're kidding yourself, you know that. Still, I suppose you'd have to. Be pretty hard to stomach your job unless you thought you were holding the whip hand.
You're the one with illusions. Inside.